Havnar, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the contribution. Really enjoy the show. Would like to know early score predictions for the Team Up North game. Just curious. Thanks, guys. Early score predictions.
Well,
this will be fun.
I'm already on record. I'm taking Ohio State in that game. I took Michigan last year, so this is not a homer pick. It's more of a home crowd, a home field pick. Although even at Michigan this year, I think Ohio State would still be favored. A score, I'm waiting for something to pop into my mind, and 30-16 did. It's an odd score, but odd things happen in that game, so I'd say 30-16.
Yeah, you were kind of reading my mind. I figure with the quality of the Michigan defense that they might be able to hold Ohio State to 27 points. You know, I guess I want to see how good the Ohio State offense is. Can the Buckeyes establish the run against good defenses? And I think Michigan will put a good defense on the field. The jury is out, I think, on I presume Orji is going to be the starting quarterback. I think the jury is out on him and his receivers and, you know, his offensive line, although it ought to be pretty good. You know, I want to see how good Michigan's offense is because I know Ohio State's defense is going to be great. So does Michigan approach 21 points or do they get held to 14 points? You know, I'll say 31-14, something like that. But again, I would like to know, you know, a little bit more. If we don't feel confident in Michigan's offense and they only get 10 points and we feel real confident in Ohio State's offense, they could push 40 points. I mean, they've scored 56 in this thing, you know, in recent vintage. So, you know, although Michigan wasn't, you know, quite as good then as they seem to be at this point in time. But what does Michigan have to play for as well? Are they eligible? We don't know that yet. We assume with each passing day that they haven't, you know, handed this down for 2024 yet. But, you know, I mean, can they rule them ineligible in September? I mean, I suppose they could. So, you know, if they have nothing to play for, what does that mean? Do guys quit the team midstream to protect their NFL stock or whatever, you know? So wouldn't surprise me a bit. So, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll get into it and see, but I'm thinking 31-14 as of right now. Just you know, assuming everything's kind of middle of the road, we'll see how it all turns out.
I'm going to go with this narrative, even though it's an imperfect one, because had it been 2 years later, it would be the 50th anniversary of my first Ohio State-Michigan game. Man, I'm old. But I'll go with this one. In 1976, I knew nothing about Ohio State football. It wasn't like 1977 where I kept track and I knew. And then by 1978, like I knew every player and statistic and all of that. But 1976, I have no idea, having not followed the season or anything, why 22-0 on the screen and Bo Schembechler being carried off the field and seeing that just enraged me. Like I was furious. It was like somebody stole my Tonka trunk or, you know, broke my Rock'em Sock'em robot or something. I was just at a feet, like I was enraged and practically punching the TV screen. So we're going to say Ohio State wins this game 22-0 at the shoe.
Whoa. Okay. A shutout.
Sure.
That would be cool. Ohio State didn't have a shutout last season. They had like several teams scored a field goal and that was it. That's something I want to see is, you know, do they hold somebody scoreless this year? That would be a great feat. I don't know that, again, I don't know anything about Akron, but I would say Akron's a pretty good candidate in the opener if they can't get within field goal range. So it could be a game if Ohio State plays like it's capable on defense where they hold Akron to under 100 yards. I mean, it could get ugly. So what's the line, like 50 on that? So, I mean, I guess what's the over-under? Probably 56. So they're probably thinking 53-3 or something, but I don't know.
Mark, that 22-0 has me wondering, is this say it's 14-0 in the fourth quarter. Ohio State scores a touchdown late. Are you telling me they're going for 2 at the end of the game?
Sure.
That way Ryan Day can obviously be asked, hey, why did you go for 2 there? And he could yell something and have another moment. But boy, 22-0. A shutout. I'm old enough to have remembered some shutouts in this rivalry. I'm sure we all are. So if they can do that, then that would erase some things and help swerve some of the narratives going around there, I think.
1993 being the latest, correct?
28 zip. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, with a outright Big Ten championship on the line. And
I was there. My buddy and I had 2 tickets, and we drove up with 2 of our friends, and they never leave the games early. So it's about middle of the fourth quarter, and my buddy's like, let's go to the car and beat the traffic. And like, well, those guys aren't going to be there, whatever. And we get to the car, and they're like, where the hell have you been? And like, well, I don't know. We figured you guys were going to leave early. He said, we left at the end of the third quarter, pre cell phones, so pretty crazy.
If I hear 22-0 out of anyone now badgering me for the next couple weeks, people relax. Okay. Steve also, by the way, I thought it was funny, and I'm not picking on Steve at all because I appreciate him having me on his show. He was running his awards by me, and he believes he is predicting Michigan to win 4 major player awards. And I said, football teams that lose 3 games typically don't win that many individual awards, number 1. And number 2, that's just, I don't know if we went from year to year throughout college football history that there would be a team that's won 4. There's only like 11, talking about all the positional awards. He's got Doak Walker going to Donovan Edwards, Mackey Award going to Colston Loveland.
Good chance.
The Remington or the Outland going to Kenneth Grant, the Thorpe going to Will Johnson.
Good chance. I think. Good.
My thought that I ordered them, and Will Johnson's got the best opportunity, I think, to win the Thorpe. So I'm going to go that route because there's a lot of reputation that, not that he's not a great player, but he doesn't have to pick off passes unless there are streams of footage showing him getting burned on 70-yard TD. He's got a reputation that he's the best. And so as long as he holds that up, even if he doesn't pick off passes, boom, he'll win that. I think I went with, there was a number of reasons I didn't favor Grant. I went with Loveland, although I picked off about 4 or 5 tight ends that are in more pass heavy offenses that could produce numbers. The Ole Miss tight end Prescorn, Mason Taylor at LSU. Another one that I came up with in a pass heavy offense that should produce better numbers. So if people are going by numbers, it's not going to be Loveland. And I think Donovan Edwards is the last on the list.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
I mean, what evidence is there to expect that from Donovan Edwards? I mean, the numbers last year were not very good. He's had good moments. I would agree with you. I think Will Johnson has a very, very good shot. He's probably the favorite, but they're not going to throw at him much, so he's going to have to make plays other ways. I think Colston Loveland, in a year with a quarterback that has experience, I'd be okay with that. But how much is, unless he's Alex Orji's security blanket, that could help. Now, he's probably going to be the first tight end drafted, but choosing anything offensively with this Michigan team to win any kind of offensive award, I think is, I don't know how wise it is right now. And choosing Kenneth Grant over Mason Graham, I think, is maybe not the best way to go, because so much of these awards are based on hype and what people know, and more people know Mason Graham than Kenneth Grant.
Our buddy Ferris Khan says, little breaking news from camp. Colston Loveland repping part-time with wide receivers now. I don't know if that's a knock against the Michigan wide receivers, that they've got to get Colston Loveland involved there.
No, I mean, they move guys around all the time anyway and try to find mismatches. So, I mean, that's they're going to play 12 personnel. They're going to play 13 personnel. So they're going to have all kinds of tight ends out there to max protect and also to help Donovan Edwards because he's going to need it.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.